Good day, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at performance specification in the frequency what domain. Now, let's say we are given this second order system. As we can see in this system, we have a unity feedback loop. That means our value of h in this place is 1. Okay, so say we are given this kind of function and we are asked to kind of draw the graph of the gain gotten to the frequency, to the what frequency. That is what our frequency domain is all about. Now we are going to be doing that in this video, and also bringing out some parameters that we may see in the graph. Now in this transfer function given to us, if we were to find the closed loop function, let's say here is our let's say here is our input and here is our output, right? Now, and we are asked to find this closed loop transfer function. We normally call this the gain. So this will be what, like I said in one of my video, whenever the two conditions for this particular method I'm going to be using now to work is that your h has to be equal to 1. That is your feedback loop transfer function has to be 1 as unity, and your open loop transfer function has to be expressed in fraction form. So the two requirements that we need has been satisfied there. So we can actually just go straight and say that our answer in this case is going to be what? Wn square over s bracket s plus 2 zeta wn plus what? Wn square. So what we just simply did is just add our numerator to the denominator. That's just all we did. And we have got, if you try it using the normal formula, which is g over 1 plus gh, if you still use this formula, you still get the same answer. But it's more like a shortcut. So if we find the closed loop transfer function, this is what it will give us. Expanding this, we're going to be having the wn square over what? S square plus, I'm multiplying s into this bracket. This is 2 zeta wn s plus wn square. Now, before we start going into the graph, wn represents what we call the undamped frequency, or what we call the natural frequency. It is a frequency that is being given to you when we assume that there is no damping in the system. When I say no damping, that means there is
no change in amplitude. That is no rising or falling of amplitude. It is steady. That's what we mean by undamped. So the frequency that has this property is undamped frequency.
our zeta, on the other hand, is what? This symbol represents our damping ratio, while wn represents our what? Natural frequency. Graph. Now, if we're to plot a graph on this, maybe using your MATLAB, and I think this is supposed to be board diagram, board plots for the gain against frequency. They have phase against frequency and gain against frequency. But the one I'm talking about here is for the gain against what? Frequency. Now, this is how our graph should look like. Now this is for our gain, and this is for our what? Frequency. Our frequency is actually what? W in this case, omega, not W. Okay. Now this point, there are about three things or four things we are going to be getting from this our graph. So from this point, the highest peak, we call it what? We denote it as what? MR, meaning what? Peak resonance. The value of the highest gain, we call it what? The peak what? Resonance. That's for MR. Now its corresponding frequency, we call it what? Resonance frequency. Okay. Now when we have gotten two parameters, our peak resonance and our what? Frequency, our resonance frequency. Okay. Now the value, another terminology again we're going to be looking at here is what we call the cutoff frequency. Now when we find 0.707 of MR, whatever MR is, and we multiply it to 0.07, its value will definitely fall below MR. That's for sure. This 0.7 is actually also 1 over the root of what? 2 times what? MR. So whatever you choose to use. Now this value is corresponding frequency, we call it what? The cutoff frequency, denoted as W what? C. And the distance from, or the value of the frequency from origin to the cutoff frequency, or the distance between the two of them, or kind of the difference between this and the origin, we call it what? The bandwidth. So bandwidth is what? WC minus what? 0. And you know this is also can also be what? WC. So our 0 will go out. So in case if you're not giving bandwidth, we're giving WC. They're actually what? The same thing. WC is the corresponding value of 0.707 of your peak resonance. The corresponding frequency of that value is what your cutoff frequency is. Then the distance from, or let's say the difference between your cutoff frequency and your origin frequency, or the frequency from the origin, from the start, which is 0, gives you your what? Bandwidth. So when you solve the math, you see that the 0 can still go off, and you're left with the bandwidth is equal to what? WC. So in case if you're giving any of them, they can serve for the what? For the other. Okay. Now our peak resonance, which is our MR, is given to us as 1 over 2 zeta times 1 minus, the square root of 1 minus zeta square. Now this terminologies I'm bringing up, this is for the frequency domain. Okay, now this is for our what? Our MR, our WR is given to us as our natural frequency multiplied by the square root of 1 minus 2 zeta square. 2 what? Zeta square. Then our bandwidth, which is the same thing as our what? Cutoff frequency, is given to us as our natural frequency multiplied by 1 minus 2 zeta square plus root 4 zeta raised to the power 4 minus 4 zeta raised to the power 2 plus what? 2. Raised to the power what? Root 2. Okay. Now we are going to be taking an example under performance specification in frequency domain. These are not name we just given. So maybe we not think much about that. So our question says the forward path transfer function of a unity feedback system is given as g of s is equal to 100 over s bracket open s plus 6.54 and bracket close. So you find the resonance peak frequency, resonance frequency, and what feedback bandwidth. And they see feedback everywhere. Okay. So I guess there's nothing much here. We just need to just get our formula, right? Okay. Now our resonance peak, this formula is what? You have your natural frequency, then the square root of 1 minus 2 zeta square. She Naim. Okay. So this is what we need to get this guy. This guy is our what? Resonance frequency. Then MOR, which is our what? Resonance peak. This first guy, MOR. This one are BW, bandwidth. Now our MOR is given to us as 1 over 2 zeta root 1 minus zeta square. She na. Okay. Then finally, just a crank formula like this. So, oh God help us. Okay. Now finally, we have our bandwidth. Our bandwidth is what? Wn, which is our natural frequency, multiplied by 1 minus 2 zeta waiting again square. You close the bracket, then you add it to the square root of 4 zeta raised to the power 4 minus 4 zeta raised to the power 2 plus what? 2. All of this. All these things you're going to square root all of them. That's what the 1 over 2 means in indices. Okay. So that's just the formula. Now the issue now remains C formula, C question, no resemblance. Where we go get that from? Where we go get WM from? Which have be WN? Okay. So no fear. Now this question now is actually the representation of an open loop transfer function. This time around we're talking about second order transfer function. What we call it second order because we are having two S's. Okay. Now this is how we normally represent it. WS square over what? This particular thing we did down, but S brackets S plus 2 zeta WN. Now this thing and this thing now the same thing. They are what? The same thing. So it's that for you now to then look at the two of them, find out any resemblance and kind of, you understand, bring it out. So at least from looking at that thing there, we know that our 100, our WN is what? Our WN square is what? 100. Definitely, this means that our what? WN is going to be what? The square root of 100, which is what? 10. Right? Okay, so we have gotten this from here. Now, another thing again that we also need to get from this same question is our what? Zeta. This is our zeta with the damping ratio. You need to get it because that's the major thing. I think we just need to do just two things. Just if you know your zeta and you know your WN, you're good to go in most of them. Only just one that doesn't need WN, which is our natural frequency, but all of them need zeta. Now, When you compare the two of them, S there outside, S there outside, S there, S there. So what it means is that only just this one is what? This one. So we're going to be having that 2 zeta W what L is equal to what? 6.54. We already know what our Wn is. So we can write this to be what? 2 times 10 all multiplied by what? Zeta is equal to what? 6.54. Right? Our zeta now is that going to be 6.54 2 times 10 20 over what? 20. And whatever this gives you should be and will be and can only be your what? Gini, your damping ratio. So 6.54 divided by 20, we have what? 0.32 what? 7. 0.32 what? 7. Grab, right? So when you are giving, another thing you need to be careful of is what? This being what? A forward path. This forward path is something as what? Open loop transfer function. That's what they gave us. So for a second order open loop transfer function, this is it. And the difference between this and that of the closed loop. That of the closed loop is the one that you have to add your 100 to this part and your Wn to this part, but it's still what? The same thing. That process, I see no need of going there now. What we not need to get all these values is just our zeta and our what? Wn. Knowing this, we can substitute our values, get our values, impute. This just go like that. So I've gotten the two main things we want. The two main things that we want, which is our what? Wn to be what? 10 and our what? Zeta to be 0.327. Wow. Now this our zeta is definitely this our zeta is telling us our system is underdamped. Underdamped meaning that it is not I think it is not greater than 1. It's not greater than 1 and it's not less than 0. So it's underdamped. That's for another day. Let's not go too far. Here we are. This is where we are. We want to get this, and this. That's what our interest is. So the first one, Mr. MOR. We want to get, using that here, we're going to be having MR is equal to what? 1 over 2 times zeta. Zeta is what? 0.327. Then square root of 1 minus zeta square. Calculator, where you did? These are easy questions. Cheap questions. This kind of question, something they call dash and not fail. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got my answer to be 1.62. MOR. Let's say it's going to get SI units. Going over to WR. On the other hand, using this formula, what's our WN? 10. Our 1. What is our 1? 1. 2. Zeta. We are now having our answer to be 8.87 approximately rad per seconds. So know that your resonance frequency has has units, but not be hertz, but what? Rad per what? Second. So besides if from you seeing omega here, you're supposed to understand that the SN will be this. Now this is the SN for what? Resonance frequency. We've just gotten for resonance peak, resonance frequency. Now the last baba is what? Bandwidth. So BW. Now substituting our values, we're going to be having WN 10 in brackets 1 minus 2 zeta width in square. Okay, 2 7 again. Okay, then what else? We add this to 4 0.327 raised to power 4 minus 4 0.327 raised to power was 2 plus 2, right? Raised to power was 1 over 2. Our final answer for our bandwidth is what? 14.34. 35. Nothing spoil. Very, very easy. Nothing to fear. So it's quite easy. Very, very easy. So that's all for this video. Like, comment, share with your friends. Baba, keep being the best version of yourself. See you in the next video. Bye.